did we have a right to expect a different outcome than we've had in the past with all white juries?
You know, the only rights we have are the rights we make. Dred Scott decision is still in full effect. That means that the African has no rights, which white folks are bound to respect. I think what we see with the Zimmerman case is very similar or related to what you was so known for dealing with, and that's the stop and frisk. But what we got now is we're moving from the uniform stop and frisk and then the ununiformed but still in the uniformed services stop and frisk to the civilian stop and frisk. This means that any white man on the street can stop you, question you, follow you, do whatever he wants, and then if you protest, if you look the wrong way, or if he's in a bad mood, they can shoot you down. So this is just stop and frisk expanded to the civilian population in terms of the perpetrators. It's like the White Citizens Council and the sheriff, and you know, that coordination they have between the sheriff, the Klan, and the White Citizens Council is still in effect.
We have some people who are convinced that, conveniently convinced that race no longer matters in American society. They want to act like racism doesn't exist in American society, even though it does. So that's a major problem. And there was a problem in the Trayvon Martin case because and it's ironic because they were fearful of interjecting race into the case. They said he was criminally profiled. I don't quite know what that means. The fact of the matter is we know that the prevalent criminal profile is a dangerous black man in the minds of most people, including white people. And so that's a major thing. And the case was, you know, it was a travesty. It was several things that went wrong, not the least of which is they didn't introduce the race question. They over-relied on the issue of who was screaming, and they over-relied on the question of who was on top, without ignoring the fact that what likely happened was that here was a frightened young kid, 17 years old, being pursued by a creepy, quote-unquote, a creepy white cracker, and he turned, who is sort of irrelevant, but they ended up in a fist fight. And in the fist fight, Trayvon was commencing to whoop his behind. That's what I think happened. And so, in that scenario, here's a kid frantically fighting because, I mean, you know, he's scared. Now, in that situation, he had a right to stand his ground. That's the way the case should have been presented. Once you put all that stock before the jury on who was on top and whose voice it was, first of all, they couldn't determine the scream, but they had eyewitnesses saying that Trayvon was on top. So you sit in the jury room, you say, well, wait a minute, if he's getting beat, then maybe he had a probable cause to shoot, which is still crazy as far as I'm concerned. But I thought the the prosecution over-invested in that particular argument.
The pattern has been going on for a long time now, you know, and this is really a wake-up call. Something has to be done. We have to be, you know, very, how can I say, we have to be strategize ourselves much more better. It can't be marching and releasing a lot of emotional energy and then going home. We have to strategize. I think, in my own opinion, I think the women, just like they did in Liberia, the women, you understand, got together because they were being raped and nobody was saying anything about it. They got together and they empowered themselves and they kicked out the president, okay? And this needs to happen here and in Africa. So the women need to be galvanized, you know, and enraged about the killing of their children. You know, we need to see the power of the women now, I think. You know, because they know how to deal with the men. You know, they put us in jail, they shoot us down and whatnot, you know. But, you know, they really haven't dealt with really the feminine energies.
And I feel bad for his mom. I don't know, as a female, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I think this would be nice to do something positive out of the loss of her son, which she'll never get back. That his death is actually a uniting of a black community. Because unfortunately, what has happened is the devaluing of black life because of black on black crime. So I'm hoping, I mean, in this sadness, that something positive comes out of it. That we stop killing each other. I know we're going to have beefs, I understand that, but not to the point where we're killing each other. Chicago, California, New York, it's just ridiculous. Every day you pick up the paper, you got 4 or 5 young black men shot and killed. Let's respect each other more. We have some serious issues that we really need to deal with on a black level. We need to come close. We need to go back to who we are, what we're about. Okay, that village mentality, that whole thing. Yeah, we're going to have problems, but let's work that out. Okay,
See that as a solution.
Yes, to certain things. Okay, to certain things, it is. But you have to unify. We are so spread out. We have went away from who we are, trying to emulate something else that basically doesn't suit us. It doesn't suit us at all.
Black power for black people.
I think we should target a state like Florida for economic sanctions. That every company that has conventions planned there should cancel them. We should no longer do conventions in Florida until they change the stand your ground law, right? If ALEC, with the backing of the Koch brothers, could go all across the South quietly putting these in, and who did they put them laws in for? Let's be clear. They put them laws in for us. Because there's this image of the dangerous black man in there, and they want to make sure you're armed and guarded against this dangerous black man because of massacre, because of what's happening in the urban inner city areas. Now, they've created this to the degree that there's the dangerous black man. They've created it because, number one, they've disinvested in the communities. There are no jobs. There's no economic investment. So, you know, some people are maybe dangerous. You know what I mean? They're exploiting this and blowing it up. So I think we need to punish. There needs to be some pain. So you need to register to vote in Florida, because we got probably, even in Florida, my guess is 15% of black people, maybe 20, are not registered or do not vote. And if you do not vote, maybe as high as 30%. That's the margin of difference in a lot of those districts. But you got to, therefore, if you're mad about Trayvon, then register. If you're mad about Trayvon, then engage in economic sanctions, right? And then we can go state by state. We take Florida out. And by the way, this is not just a black project. As you well know, there are liberal, white, progressive allies who would join it, labor unions, various groups who would then also join that boycott. Inflict some pain. And then you go state by state, where there's a stand your ground law or one of these voter ID laws. We start withdrawing our patriots and we start marching on ballot boxes.
I don't care where you are. Over time, if you won't defend yourself or can't defend yourself, and I'm not speaking of the young man, I'm speaking about us collectively. If we can't protect our youth, yeah, they'll kill our youth. They'll kill us. They'll kill the grandparents too.